Yep, still drink these. Let's get into the episode, shall we? So the name of this episode is Low Key Thankful. It's episode 3. I honestly think this should have been called Low Key Awkward because there was hella awkward moments in this episode. The episode opens with Lawrence. He's giving a mock proposal for his promotion at work. While he's doing that, an alarm goes off, similar to one that you would hear at a nuclear power plant. And we see that we're in Condola's apartment. Now, her name is Condola, y'all, not Canola. Put some respect on her name for now. Because after watching this episode, I don't know, can she be trusted or not? So they're talking in bed, and apparently we're in November now because they're talking about Thanksgiving plans. Lawrence is asking her what is she doing. She said that she's doing a Friendsgiving. And if you notice, she did not invite Lawrence. Lawrence was like, oh, should I come? Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, you can come. So after that nervous response, basically, it's a done deal. Roll credits, Insecure, pan of LA, a beautiful shot, and then we have the music, and then we cut to Lawrence again. Apparently, this is 2 months before the block party, so keep up. We cut to Lawrence at his job, and he's ready for his proposal. There's a little white girl at the reception area, apparently that it's been canceled. And he's just like, oh, okay, is everything okay? Yeah, it's okay. And he's wondering what's up. Next scene, we get to Lawrence again. So as I'm watching the episode, I'm like, oh, God. It's a Lawrence heavy episode, and y'all heard me in the last review of how I feel about Lawrence. Like, I'm just not interested in him as a character. So he's riding in a car with Chad, and as he's talking to Chad, we find out that one of the investors in his company has left, and they're getting rid of half the staff. And he's not worried about his job because I'm guessing he's the token minority. Much like I'm the token minority at my job. I am 3 of 40 servers at my job. Like, you know what? I think they're going to hire me back when all this is over. So then Lawrence is saying he's frustrated because, he's looking to move up, and if this promotion is stagnant, he doesn't want to be in the same place where he was. And if y'all were paying attention, if you've watched Insecure since season 1, this is very different for Lawrence. Lawrence is more driven than he has ever been. Ever been. And keep that in mind for later on. We also get into a little small side story about Chad, what he's been up to. Apparently business has been bad for him, and he just bought a car, even though he really shouldn't have, but he's trying to keep up the image. In which turn he tells Lawrence, oh, since you're making money now, you need to step your game up. You need to change your car. You want to buy a house? To which Lawrence is just like, no, let me just see where I am at right now. So we cut to Issa, and she's at a little cute lunch spot in LA, and she runs into Lawrence. And yeah, they're talking back and forth, making jokes. And then we see Condola come up. Now, you know what? I almost said Contessa. Y'all, her name is Condola. I gotta remind myself too. It's not Canola and it's not Contessa. Condola shows up too. And then Issa is like, oh, hey, I just realized someone pointed out to me that this is the first time that Issa has been around both Lawrence and Condola at the same time. And the only reason Issa is there because of Condola's recommendation. This is Condola's spot. A lot of awkwardness. She runs into them joking back and forth. Cut to a funny part of her saying, oh, I'm about to go. And then her order comes up and she's like, yeah, I got some food to go. And then the guy said, yeah, meatball sub, coffee for Issa here. It was hilarious. And she walked out with the tray and the drink. And she also gives a little glance back at Lawrence and Condola. Next scene, we're at the grocery store with Issa and Molly. We find out that Molly has still not forgiven her dad for cheating on her mom. This was a couple seasons back. I think this was either in the beginning of season 3 or season 2. Y'all remind me and let me know in the comments. So we get to Thanksgiving talk with Molly and Issa. Apparently, Issa comes over all the time for some pie that her mom makes. Molly is wondering, should she invite Andrew or not? And Issa responds, oh, girl, it's been 2 or 3 months. You sure? You know, you don't want to be like old Molly and scare him off. Dig. And then, you know, she's just like, oh. So as they're walking down the same aisle, like Issa brings up, you know, the whole block party thing, and then Molly reminds her, like, girl, I still can't believe you fine with all that. And then Molly goes for a dig of her own, saying, oh, well, I'm glad your thought was a success. And Issa quickly reminds her, like, bitch, you were with Dro. Come on, let's not forget. And then, ooh, Molly throws out a dagger, saying, at least I'm not fucking for weed and toiletries. Ooh. So then Issa's just like, whoa, like what's going on here? What's going on? And then they both realize that their friendship has been off for the past few months. And I do appreciate their maturity in realizing that, you know what, I think we need to talk about this. And I guess at a later date. So then they plan to talk it out at Molly's house for Thanksgiving. So for this episode, for the remainder of it, we switch from Condola and Lawrence to Issa to Molly through their whole entire Thanksgiving day. So going forward, I'm going to try to like jump back and forth to Molly, to Issa, to Lawrence. So yeah, bear with me. So first we start out with Condola and Lawrence. We're at Condola's place for Friendsgiving. Lawrence arrives. Everything seems copacetic and cheery right now. He even does her plumbing in the meantime. Her friends arrive, and it seems like Lawrence is getting along with everybody. He's making everyone laugh. It looks like Condola is glad that he invited himself. Next, we get to Molly's parents' house, and we're introduced to her mom again, who seems very no-nonsense. She actually kind of reminds me of Sissy Houston. We also see her siblings, who are hilarious in this episode, and they baby mamas. And it also looks like she's still beefing with her dad right now, because she's acting real like standoffish and cold with him. We also get to a scene where she tells her mom that she's dating someone, Andrew, and was wondering should she have invited him or not. And actually, surprisingly, her mom said, yeah, you should have. You know, we would have behaved ourselves. And she sees who Molly is dating, and you know, a black family, you know, dating outside your race is still taboo, even if it is. I'm trying to figure out would my family be more cool with me bringing someone of the same sex home or bringing someone of a different race home that was a girl. I don't know. I think both would actually get the same reaction, honestly. So then when she sees him, you know, she's like, he Korean? And then her brother says, is he crazy and rich? I fell out. Anywho, we see Issa and her brother headed to her parents' house. And we see the fire department out front, and they rush to see like, oh wait, it's not mom. It's her, well, not even their stepdad. It's the guy that she's dating. And what I've been told is that we've never seen Issa's mom before. I could have sworn we have, but apparently they use Wendy Raquel Robinson, I believe that's her name, as the actress. She is from the Steve Harvey Show as the principal. And yeah, once they see that their mom isn't staying for Thanksgiving and going to the hospital with her boyfriend, they turn right back around and they go for Mexican food. So throughout the Thanksgiving jumps between Lawrence, Issa, and Molly, we also see the characters on Instagram, the supporting characters on Instagram, and we see what they're doing in their little Instagram stories, like Kelly and Chad and Tiffany and her husband. So we're at Condola's again, and everyone's talking, and we notice her very drunk friend, I think her name was Nicole, played by the actress from the Black Lady sketch show. She's hilarious, by the way. And we see while Condola is talking that Lawrence finds out that she doesn't want to be married anymore, which raises an eyebrow. So Lawrence heads to the kitchen, and Nicole follows him, the drunk friend. And they're having a conversation, and Lawrence finds out another tidbit about Condola. I didn't know she was a divorcee. Apparently in last season we found that out. The drunk friend was saying, oh, I'm glad, well, that she's dating again and everything is just casual right now. I'm glad she's going back into the game. And Lauren says, oh, really? And she was like, yeah, you know, ever since like her husband left her, we've been trying to get her out there. So basically he's seeing it as like, oh, you're the fuck buddy that she needs right now to get over her ex. We jump to Issa getting to the Mexican restaurant with her brother, and we find out that, oh, it's going to be like an hour wait. And she texts Molly saying, like, girl, Thanksgiving is crazy right now. I'll get there a little bit later. Molly's like rolling her eyes like, do you, girl? When I saw that, I was just like, did Issa not take the context in that at all? I don't know. It just seems like Issa's being a little bit selfish, but she doesn't realize it. So we're back at the Mexican restaurant where Issa and her brother are finally seated. And her brother is talking about his relationship woes and being single. And you know what? I can relate with him because niggas ain't shit. Am I right? Thank you. Issa gets Molly's text message, the one that said, do you, girl? If I saw this passive-aggressive text message, I would be like, my friend doesn't think I'm going to come over tonight. I would then reassure my friend that I'm going to come over, I'm sorry, and we're going to get a chance to hash out our differences. What does Issa do? She puts the phone back in her pocket. And basically, I'm guessing that reminded her to bring up to her brother that she saw Lawrence and Condola the other day. He asked her, like, oh, how you feeling? Like, are you good? Are you good with that? And she finally gives us a little bit of honesty, saying, you know what? It does bother me a bit. We've been together for 5 years, and the Lawrence that she's seen isn't the Lawrence that she was with for 5 years. Now, go back to season 1. Y'all know Lawrence was, well, he wasn't a fuck nigga, but he was more so lazy. He wasn't motivated. And I think he really took Issa for granted. And she was saying that, oh yeah, he was the work in progress. He was the nigga with potential. And then she says the quote that stands out this entire episode. She feels like Condola is reaping the benefits of Lawrence's time with her. And that is a huge statement. And I think it's kind of true, but Issa has to remember that she cheated on Lawrence, you know? So you can't have this type of ownership. Let me know what y'all think in the comments about that statement that she made. And then her brother says, you know what? You're entitled to have those feelings, you know? And I wish that Issa and Molly would have had this conversation, but they're too busy doing this. So we're back at Molly's parents' place, and it's still obvious to everybody that she's still kind of cold with her dad. Her brother calls her over into the kitchen and then calls her out on it and says, you know what, dad is human. He said in a different term, I'm not sure if I want to repeat it on here, but yeah, he was just like, you know, dads mess up sometimes. And you know what, they're still together. Their mom is fine with it. They've moved on. You shouldn't be holding this type of anger to him. Like, put out the white flag. Speaking of, do y'all play Taboo at Thanksgiving? I love Taboo. Like, I look forward to that shit. I'm really good at it. So we cut to Condola's, and they're all cleaning up. Company is left, and Lawrence is just saying, you know, oh, I'm glad you invited me. I had a great time. So then she giggles and be like, well, you know I didn't invite you. You kind of invited yourself, but I'm glad you came. And then Lawrence brings up the fact that, you know, he talked to her drunk friend and said, well, am I like a fuck buddy? And she's like, no. And of course there's some truth to that, I'm guessing. And then he brings up the fact that, well, I didn't know you didn't want a family either. And she was like, oh, well, I just got out of divorce 1.5 years ago. I'm not looking to get married anytime soon. So then this is bringing up a little, you know, a little contention between the two. And Lawrence brings up, are you still getting over your ex? Because remember, her ex divorced her. And Condola is just like blindsided, saying like, wait, hold up, where the fuck did that come from? And then she takes a little pettiness out of her bag and says, well, if any ex we're supposed to be worried about, I should be worried about yours. Now, Condola, girl, I like you, but you chose to continue being friends with his ex. So you can't throw that in his face. And then she goes to ask him, well, yeah, she cheated on you, but what if she didn't cheat on you? Would you still be with her? And he was like, well, that doesn't mean, but would you still be with her? And then we have awkward silence. So it looks late as fuck right now. Like we're at the evening point, and it looks like Issa isn't going to go to Molly's place. She drops her brother off at his house, and then he asks about her friendship with Molly. And she's like, oh yeah, we're good. We're just going through friendship stuff. So then Issa reaches for her phone and just cancels with Molly and just like, girl, can we just talk about it another time? I'm just like, ugh. Like, they needed to talk. Like, this is why their friendship is headed to the trash right now. So we cut to Molly's parents' place, and she cuts a piece of the pie that was meant for Issa. She brings it to her dad. And I kind of saw that scene as sort of a peace offering, and she's going to finally get over it. She gets the text from Issa, and she's just like, no problem. And I'm like, oh goodness. Like, I cannot wait till the next episode to see how this happens. They should have been talked it out, honestly. So we're at Lawrence's place, and we see him scrolling through Instagram. And we finally see the significance of showing everyone's stories throughout this entire episode. He's scrolling through Chad's, then Kelly's, and then Tiffany's Instagram, to then he sees Issa's when she was at the Mexican restaurant. He pulls it up as a response. And you know how you have that automatic emoji to where you can either clap, you can do the heart eyes or anything like that? He sends it. And then you see Issa immediately with the ... And then the cherry on top of this episode that might have saved the episode for me. You hear the dun, 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 dun. Like the Maya Case of the X song. I'm like, oh my God. When I saw that, I got up and started dancing. I'm sorry. Like, it's after midnight and she's on your phone. Like, come on. What you gonna do when you can't say no when the feeling's about to show? Boy, I really need to know and how you're gonna act. Okay, I'm sorry. That got me really excited. I love Maya. That album is 20 years old, by the way. Fear of Flying. Please check that out. And that's where the episode ends. So this episode still felt short to me. And I think it felt short because most of the plot points that needed to be explained didn't need so much time to be explained, if that makes sense. Like, I feel a lot of things could have been cut out just to get to the meat of it, and then we can keep the plot going. I don't know, like, I guess that's just how the pacing of the show works. This was also a very Lawrence-heavy episode. I really hope this is the only Lawrence-heavy episode, because I still do not care for him as a character. And also, are they trying to get Issa and Lawrence back together? Like, at first, I didn't see that coming, like, finishing up on season 3 and then starting up with season 4. But now it looks like we're trying to get them back together. And I'm not sure if I want to see them together again. And does anyone notice how I think Condola is treating Lawrence, how Lawrence treated that banker he was dating after he broke up with Issa? Some good karma to think about. And is Condola, like, is she like the sweet one in this situation? Are they going to make her the villain? You know, is Lawrence just a fuck buddy to her? Anywho, this was a decent episode, you know, especially the ending. The ending kind of saved it for me. And I really can't wait till we get to this damn block party. It looked like we got 2 more episodes to wait, like episode 5. I also can't wait to get to the episode that Kerry Washington directed too. But anywho, like, comment, and subscribe as always. Thank you again for having me monetized. I really appreciate it. If y'all still want to donate, the link's at the bottom, the Venmo, the Cash App, and the PayPal. Feel free. Just saying. Just saying. But yeah, can't wait till the next episode, and I will see y'all then.